Hello everyone, welcome to D&D News. I'm Greg Tito. How are you? It's good to see you. Got some crazy people up in here who are looking at all of the fun stuff I was putting here on the table, as well as me. Thank you for calling me out as the class clown, because I was indeed. Voted that by my peers in the high school, as well as teacher's nightmare. I'm not sure if that's a good one per se, but the two of them go together pretty well, generally. I also was the person in charge of making the yearbook that put those in there, so I could have taken them out if I wanted to, but I really liked them. We did all these pictures too, and there was one where I think the teacher's nightmare picture, I'm like punching the yearbook teacher at the time, which in hindsight is probably not a good picture to put in your high school yearbook. Just throwing that out there. There are at least way more pictures of me in the yearbook. So not only am I a class clown, I'm also a narcissist. Good to see you guys. I am excited to get through a whole bunch of stuff here today. I even put a whole bunch of images together, so we're going to throw some of those up here, and Trevor Kidd is helping me do some of that right now, so shout out to Trevor in advance for all those things happening. But you guys were asking about these fun things, and I like showing them off. Really good work. It's a nice little display case here. I will remove it to remove the glare, but this is a purple worm that is a miniature, comes unpainted from Gale Force 9, and their master painter, Matt Parks, painted these, and our friend John Paul from Gale Force 9 sent these to as a nice way of, who better to hold on to these master things than us, really. So we're going to display them probably in the office here, but I wanted to show them to you guys. You can't get the level of detail that you really can with a close-up camera, but we'll be doing more of that in the future. But I just think it's really cool. Again, I think these are discontinued no longer. You can no longer get the unpainted versions of these, so these will be the definitive versions, at least for a little while. This one I think is even cooler, though. This is Xanathar. Straight up from what he looks like in the, I'm going to do it so it's in focus because I think it's focused on a face right here. But yeah, no, really good painting. The detail, you guys, in the gold and the chest, and there's an open spell book down here. It's really, really cool. Maybe one day you'll be able to paint miniatures just like this, and we'll be doing a lot more content like that here on the D&D Twitch channel going forward. Maybe even Mike Merle's doing some painting of miniatures. It's an idea that we've thrown around during his Mike Merle's Happy Fun Hour show that we've also been tossing around a lot. Thank you Into the Photon Storm for subscribing. You are a good person. I like you very much. We are excited for all the fun people here. Actually, I just subscribed again using my Twitch Prime account because that's a thing you can do, and I hope you should do it. You should do that too. I've got my little badge here. I see Axis of Anarchy and Oboe Crazier in there with their yellow gold badge. That means they've subscribed for 6 months in a row, which is a feat, to be sure. Really love it a lot. I want to get right to the news that's going on for you. So Nathan's Fireside Chat will be happening this Friday. We talked about this when we recorded Dragon Talk yesterday. But Nathan is coming back in full force. He is the director of Dungeons & Dragons. If you don't know that name, you should follow him on Twitter. He likes to drop kind of crazy things, not all the time, but very, very often when he's on events and doing travels. And he's having his Fireside Chat. He's been doing these once a month on Friday mornings around 11 a.m. Yes, with an actual fireplace. Yes, it has green flame, although I'm not sure we've used green flame in the settings before, but it is in there. And he will be doing that, and he promised to give away lots of swag. We've got the raffle Moobot ready to go for swag giveaways this Friday, so look to that. Again, it's 11 a.m. Pacific time, and Nathan will be very happy to get as many folks watching, and he answers a lot of questions. Questions that you won't get answered anywhere else, ones that I'm not really allowed to even answer, definitely not anyone else, and he will answer them in the most honest and straightforward way that he knows how to. So that's one of the cool things about watching those, in addition, of course, to all the swag. And he will be... and the big part about this, though, is that he is looking for fan art from Tomb of Annihilation as well as from Dice Camera Action from the Waffle Crew. So please send that in either to his Twitter account or to my Twitter account. I can make sure he has it. That's displayed here below. And he will pick off the best 5 favorites of his, and those people will get some amazing fun stuff to show off on the stream itself. So that's pretty cool. Please send in your art, and we will highlight it as much as possible. I know there's been lots of great stuff happening on the Reddit thread, as well as other repositories on the web. We're looking forward to Dice Camera action for 2018, as well as in a few minutes coming up at 4 p.m. here for the return of what's been going on with the Waffle Crew. Bag of Nails will be returning as well. That's Matthew Lillard's character, the Tabaxi. So yes, we will have him again. He was only planning to do 2 sessions, but 3 sessions, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to survive the 3rd session. We'll have to see. Chris has a habit of killing off guest stars, in case you hadn't noticed. Next up is Plane Shift Exelon. That is a book. Well, it's a PDF really, but it's a companion piece to the Art of Magic book that we have been producing here from Wizards of the Coast, where all of the Magic artwork that's in a very small format on cards is blown up in much bigger detail. It's a nice big coffee table book. I haven't actually seen the Exelon copy of the book. Well, I should bring that in at one point to show off here too. But the cool thing about the Exelon Plane Shift article is it takes a lot of the world building and the detail and the storytelling in that Art of Magic book, and James Wyatt, who used to be on the D&D team here, takes all that and basically makes it into 5th edition rules that you can use to play Dungeons & Dragons in the Magic universe, and in this case, the Exelon plane. The Exelon plane is pretty cool. It's got lots of Egypt themes in there. There's 5 major gods that kind of are analogous or at least reminiscent to Egyptian gods. There's a big bad in there. I'm not going to spoil it if I tell you that it is, oh God, what's his name? The big demon bad guy. You know what I'm talking about. Nicol Bolas. Yes, Nicol Bolas. He's a big dragon. Not a good guy. Not generally a good guy. But yeah, there's going to be some rules and stuff for that in the Plane Shift article. I suggest you check it out. And if Trevor is badass, he might put a link to it in the chat, actually, so that you can find the Plane Shift article. Are you badass? Are you badass, sir?
I am now. It's there.
Nice. It is happening. There it is. So check it out there. It's a free download, and you can start playing some fun stuff in Magic. D&D in the Magic universe. I mentioned this last time. The D&D shirts that people saw during the holidays at Target are available on Target.com. Pretty cool versions. We're showing one right now. This is the women's version of the shirt. It is awesome to see this stuff in the wild, and we're looking for more and more. This sweatshirt, you can go get that at the Target link there. And I was talking about Amonkhet, not Exelon. You are totally right, CB Theater. I was totally in the last Plane Shift thing that I was going on. You're totally right. That was Amonkhet. Ixalan is totally different. That's in the jungle. There's merpeople. Merfolk is the word for magic, as well as conquistadors, that whole kind of theme. Totally different. Very actually more similar to the Tomb of Annihilation storyline. Gosh, I was really in the Amonkhet there for a while. Had all the images in my brain. Thank you for pointing that out, though. And yes, Exelon could totally tie in for chat. Thank you, CB Theater, for pointing that out. That was super good stuff. So yeah, you were doing the Amonkhet link. Yeah, and there's the Exelon link there. Cool. All right. Glad we got that sorted. So yeah, check out those D&D shirts at Target. Also, a really cool, fun thing that happened today on the Twitterverse. Arby's, the fast food restaurant from here in the United States, best known for its roast beef sandwiches, although I like the chicken cordon bleu from Arby's. It's one of my favorites, as well as these curly fries. But they tweeted out a really fun, what else is a reference to Dungeons & Dragons, not the crit we were hoping for. There's full motion video. We're just showing the image here, but that is a one rolled in front of that delicious looking sandwich. I'm quite hungry, so I think I might grab a bite of that pretty soon. But it's pretty cool that this major fast food brand is all of a sudden making Dungeons & Dragons jokes, and there were a bunch of responses from the D&D community. Again, this was only posted like 6 hours ago, but Laura Bailey from Critical Role pointed out that Arby's sauce is a critical role for her, which is pretty cool. Adam Coble, who does the Tomb of Annihilation show here from Roll20, he was also at Stream of Annihilation, really great guy. He went with a more sci-fi bent about what happens after you roll that one in front of the Arby's sandwich. pretty terrible. Matt Mercer, who's, starting up his new campaign in 2 days on the Critical Role Geek and Sundry channel. He had a delicious little thing. Of course, it's the mimics that are to blame for what's happening to Arby's. I assume it's the person named Arby that rolled that. My old friend Mitch Dyer used to be a game journalist along with me, asked a very pertinent question. How many times did you shoot this video before you got the one? And Arby's, whoever's running that social media account, admitted that it was way too many. Which makes total sense. That's good stuff. And I love that kind of thing can happen just in the course of a day, and everybody in the Twitterverse wants to put their own spin on it, and it's just very cool that we get Dungeons & Dragons talk happening just all over the place like this. Good stuff. What else is going on? So, yes, tonight is the season finale. I don't know if you guys know this. The season finale for Sirens of the Realms, which is the incarnation of the show we were working on with Satine Phoenix. She is the dungeon master. She has an all-female cast of bards going through Chult, through the Tomb of Annihilation storyline. It's been very entertaining. I love that they all have some musical talent. Some of them sing, some of them play instruments. It's been really awesome. Just the photos alone, the artwork of the costumes that they have put together is fantastic. So if you haven't been watching this show, go ahead and binge it and get caught up. But if not, come and hang out in the chat tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific time for the finale of Sirens of the Realms. It's going to come in right after Dice Camera Action is done, and they deserve a really big send-off. They've done really great work, so please check that out. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss seeing all those pictures on my feed, so let's continue to move those forward, and I can't wait to see where the Sirens go next. Maybe they can finally get out of those jungle areas and get to some more civilized folk who can really appreciate their music. This means music to me when I do the side, and then ding 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 ding. Check that out. Unearthed Arcana is out today in the world. So you might ask, what is Unearthed Arcana? It is a series of monthly articles that the D&D team put together that serves a bunch of different purposes. I actually recorded a Sage Advice with Jeremy Crawford on this particular topic back in December. So go listen to that or watch that video here on Twitch. But it's a combination of playtest material, stuff we want to get in front of an audience, get feedback on before it's put into a printed book, as well as some stuff that we know is never going to be in a printed book. We just wanted to exercise, throw it out there. Like, for example, Mike Merles did a new initiative system that I think Jeremy is like, no, this will never, ever be in a Dungeons & Dragons book. But it was a fun little experiment to figure out, what worked about initiative, get some feedback on it. And that's kind of the realm that Unearthed Arcana is in. And the new one out today has some really fun stuff. There's 3 new subclasses that you can check out. One is the Circle of Spores for the Druid, as well as the Brute for the Fighter, and the School of Invention for the Wizard. So those are all really interesting takes on different classes. The School of Invention sounds really cool. If you're a gnome illusionist or someone who kind of makes stuff up, that seems like something that would be right up your alley. And the Circle of Spores, I didn't even look at this article yet, but the Circle of Spores sounds really interesting, especially if you're running Out of the Abyss. Maybe Stool might end up being a Myconid druid Circle of the Spores. That makes perfect sense. If you're playing any anthropomorphic mushrooms, you never know. It might be a thing that you do. Cool stuff. I suggest you check that out, and then we can put the link to that in there. You did. Nice. We nailed it. You and Lauren were like back to back to back. Yep. I love it. Hi, Lauren. Good to see ya. Keeping it down, keeping the links for reals. I like it. And speaking of Jeremy Crawford, he also just had a recent video that our friends at D&D Beyond, Todd Kenrick, posted today about arcane and divine magic. This is a really cool discussion. Of course, it's just Jeremy not spinning his wheels, but just like going through kind of his ideas about what makes arcane magic and what makes divine magic, as well as how warlocks interact with their patrons and all that. Good discussion, really great stuff. I love the videos that Dungeons & Dragons Beyond, it's not really called Dungeons & Dragons Beyond, it's just D&D Beyond. I love all the stuff that Todd has been putting together, and this one in particular is one of my favorites because it just gets at the heart of what makes D&D D&D, those spell casting classes and things like that, and it kind of thinks about the way we currently envision these spellcasting characters and what they end up doing. So go check that out and subscribe to D&D Beyond on YouTube if you want. These new videos, I think Todd has the idea to have at least one every day. He's coming in, I think, 2 days from now to record some new videos with the team. So you'll see Chris Perkins and Mike Merles do some new fun stuff, maybe some stuff about videos about things that haven't been announced yet. I don't know. Maybe he'll record those in 2 days. Could be. So yeah, go check that out. PAX South is coming up. Did you guys know that? All of a sudden, it's PAX South time. That's crazy. I don't want to say I was taken by surprise, but I was a little bit taken by surprise by the calendar and being like, oh, that's next weekend. It's happening. Chris Perkins is flying down to, it's in Austin or San Antonio? Or Dallas? It's in Texas, San Antonio. I had a feeling it was San Antonio. It's in San Antonio, Texas, so if you're in that area, go check it out. You'll be able to see Acquisitions Incorporated is going to be at 12 Pacific time. That's 3 p.m. Central time?
2 p.m. Central.
2 p.m. Central time. I know how to do math, but it's all up here on the graphics, so I don't have to do the math, which makes it really great.
Time, noon our time.
Noon our time, right. So we'll be hosting that on this channel here, so you can come and hang out with your chat buddies, watch Acquisitions Incorporated. It's going to be 2 to 3 to 4 hours long of nonstop fun. So I suggest you check that out. Also, the C Team is also doing their live show. It's Sunday on the 14th. We'll be hosting that here as well, too. That's 12 p.m. Central. So what's the math on that? God damn it, I'm not good. 10 a.m. So get your coffee, drink it out of your Dungeons & Dragons mug if you're lucky enough to have one of those, and you can watch some awesome C Team goodness happening. I like it. I like what you're doing. Excuse me. Yes, my hair is definitely chaotic neutral today. I didn't even realize it, but it's I thought maybe with the black behind here you guys wouldn't see, but even as I'm doing this, I'm feeling my hair move. So I apologize in advance for that. Oh man. What's going on in here? Oh man, Don Lee, you have to help your sister move right during the Acquisitions Incorporated game. I mean, she's still going to be there 3 hours later, right? Right? You can help her move 3 hours afterwards. Just saying. The good part about that is that it will end up on, as a Twitch viewable here on our channel. Well, I guess it won't be on our channel if it's on theirs, but you can archive. Yeah, you can watch the archives at the Penny Arcade as well as on YouTube. I'm sure you'll be able to find it very soon on the official Penny Arcade channel, and make sure you're only watching it on the official Penny Arcade channel. People out there. And shout out to Alyssa Grant, who is producer for both C-Team and Acquisitions Incorporated. She's been doing great work over there. She used to be here at the Dungeons & Dragons team, and she was a great member of she was Rookie in the same Out of the Abyss campaign that I was referencing earlier with Stool.
I felt bad about Stool's death. So.
I think we all felt bad about Stool's death.
Did you really?
I did. I mean, I didn't want him to die. He was a good little mushroom.
I played him a little too aggressively.
With your headbutting.
He wanted to help.
That's what I like, that you kept on wanting to headbutt.
He wanted to help so much.
If you don't know what we're talking about, I ran an Out of the Abyss campaign, 2 years ago? About 2 years ago, on the D&D YouTube channel. Is the best place for you to check that out now. It was one of the first things we did here on the Twitch channel, too. Yeah, we did about 14 sessions of that, and Alyssa was a big part of that and made that really special, as well as Trevor Kidd. So good on you, sir. Like I said, she's doing a great job at PAX, keeping all those folks in line. And you should follow her. She's at Hobbit Says, Z-E-Z, Hobbitziz, there on the Twitters. Some other cool stuff that's been happening in the world of Dungeons & Dragons. Our friend Cecilia D'Anastasio from Kotaku highlighted a pretty cool a pretty cool piece of design of someone who took all of the monsters in the monster manual and basically made playable races with them. So, in Volo's Guide to Monsters, they have stats for you how to play as a monstrous race. He basically just extrapolated and did that for all of the races or creatures in the monster manual, and you can play as all of them. Not play tested, not sure if it's balanced or anything like that, but if you ever wanted to figure out how to play as a purple worm, for example, using this miniature right here, you could do so using that thing on the Dungeon Masters Guild. So that's a pretty cool bit. That was Tyler Kamstra was the person who wrote that. And again, it's 283 pages of material for you using those monstrous races in your Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Again, can't vet it for whether it's going to hold up or whether, players will be upset about this one being overpowered or not. But that's kind of the fun of having a monstrous race, is that you are crazy overpowered, but then you have to deal with the fact that you're a monster deep inside. So keep that.
Totally overpowered.
Totally overpowered as a stool. Yeah, right. As the Myconid there. Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess you're right. On the fly, I did that as a mod. I was like, oh yeah, you're playing as this NPC now. It is part of it. So it's a long tradition of that happening in Dungeons & Dragons, and it's cool that Tyler went through and put them all on there for you to see and or download from the Dungeon Masters Guild. And it's just super cool that Cecilia over at Kotaku is gleaning everything from the Dungeon Masters Guild and highlighting some cool stuff. So shout out to her as well. Thank you, Cecilia. You're a good person. Speaking of other cool articles out there, this happened closer to the holidays, but back in December, Brian Casente, who oddly enough founded Kotaku back in the day along with Brian Ashcraft, he is now at Glixel, which is the Rolling Stones web portal for games, I guess is what you would say. It's their little vertical on games at the Rolling Stone website. And they wrote up a pretty good profile of Chris Cox, the president of Wizards of the Coast. He's only been here for about 2 years, but he's made a big impact on what we do here, and it highlights all of his things. A lot of the things are things that he said in company meetings that are now in the public register, which I think is pretty cool. One of them is the whole ideas between castles and boats, which I think is a really cool idea to kind of get across, that there are the things when you're a business that you have a castle, you defend it, you make sure it's better, you improve upon it, and make it really good. And then there's boats, the things that are a little bit risky. Not sure if it's going to work out. It might founder, it might fall down, it might sink, but you might find a new land. You might find a new world, and you might meet some new people and get some new opportunities and build a new castle from that boat. So he has the idea of us making sure that we're balanced between those two, so that Wizards of the Coast is always making sure its castles are really working really well, but also not forgetting to take risks and do fun stuff that's outside of the norm. And one of the things he highlighted, and I'm not sure it got a lot of pickup, but there's people inside this building who are currently working on a Transformers trading card game. What? It's in the article. It's totally public. I can talk about it. And there's even some cool artwork. If you're a fan of old school Transformers from Optimus Prime and Megatron, I actually got to play some playtest of this card game. It's pretty fun. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm jealous.
And yeah, I know. It's good stuff. I feel like you're the one who's going to yell at me, Joe. You're like, keep pointing out. He's like, "Mrr," and I'm like, yeah, I know. It's in there. You can go check it out. So that's kind of, even though it's, it is a known brand, I don't think there's been a Transformers TCG before. I mean, if there has, it's been a long time since it came out. So that's one of our boats. It's one of our new things that we're just trying out there. Also cool that Chris Cox, the president of Wizards of the Coast, is an old-time Dungeons & Dragons fan. He said that he has been playing Dungeons & Dragons basically, and knowing about it for a long time, but that his girlfriend at the time got him a copy of Baldur's Gate, and then he got hooked with that game, and then he's always been pushing for more and more, and a lot of it is all about where we're going to be in the digital age of Wizards of the Coast. We obviously make a lot of analog and tabletop games that people play face-to-face, and that's really awesome. We're not going to forget about that. That's one of our castles. But the boats of what's going on in the digital realm is not to be ignored either. A lot of people play games either on their phones or on their tablets or things like that, and we've got a lot of cool news coming about that pretty soon for all of the brands. Good stuff. Imagine a campaign about creating a floating nation. I like that. Tell me more, the Green Rex. You're founding the floating nation, so it's like a castle and a boat at the same time, but it's steampunk, and there's also dragons that are attacking. Okay, I'm on board. I like it. I would play of course, I would also play the frick out of a Mind Flayer barbarian. That sounds pretty fun. It seems like against type, which makes me really interested to find out about that. Although Mind Flayers dislike magic users, right, and barbarians dislike magic users, so there's some confluence there, which should be pretty interesting. Cool. So, other things in Dungeons & Dragons world are, of course, Xanathar's Guide to Everything has been flying off of shelves. Hopefully you've gotten your copy already and have been perusing all of the fun subclasses. What has been some of the fun ones that you've tried and that you might try again? Let us know. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at Greg Tito. And let me know. There's lots of other fun stuff that has been going on. We have Dragon Talk has been recording new episodes for 2018. We recorded 2 yesterday, as well as some new lore you should know segments. One was on Modrons, one was on Slotty, which is the plural of Slod. Those 2 monsters, I kind of in my head put them together, but even more so after talking to Chris Perkins and Matt Cernit about that, they are pretty much almost polar opposites. They're like the embodiment of chaotic neutral if you're talking about the Slotty, or lawful neutral if you're talking about the Modrons. Really cool stuff, and those will be 2 Lawyer Should Know segments that'll come out in the first couple episodes of Dragon Talk on the RSS feed. We also spoke to John Trier and I'm going to get his name right, Owen Falvey, who's really cool, and they've been running a podcast, an actual play podcast that's edited called How We Roll. They're in the United Kingdom. One of them is English, one of them is Irish, but they have a lot of other fun folks going on there. So we interviewed them, talking about how they got to learn playing Dungeons & Dragons. Then we also spoke to Greg Marks and Bill Benham, 2 admins for the D&D Adventurers League. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, obviously listen to the entire interview, but D&D Adventurers League is organized play. It's where you can take your character that you've made using all the rules within our books, take it to any game store or convention or anywhere that someone's running a D&D Adventurers League event, and you'll fit right in and you'll get what's going on in the seasons of content that we have been producing with all the major adventures that have been happening out there. So right now they're still in season 7, which is Tomb of Annihilation. And the storyline there is ancillary to what's going on in the hardcover printed books, which I think is really fascinating. Basically, everybody in the D&D Adventurers League writer community has been creating these adventures that kind of can be, you can go play those in a store, and then you can play in your home campaign, the stuff that actually is written in there, and then go back and trade back and forth. It's really interesting stuff, and they've got more and more plans for what they're going to do with D&D Adventurers League in the future. It's basically like, and this is how Bill Benham put it in the interview, D&D Adventurers League is basically like a home campaign with thousands of people in it. They try to run it just like that and feel like there is a large group of people who are all kind of in the same mind space of what's happening in Dungeons & Dragons, and it's all following the stories as we're putting them out there. So we're going to be delving in with a couple more interviews with the D&D admins, D&D Adventurers League admins. There's 6 in total. We spoke to 2. We'll be doing more of that. And then next week, I believe we'll be talking to Travis Woodall and Claire Hoffman, 2 of those D&D admins. Look, I just pulled that out from the brain pan. Did you like that? It happens from when you type things up a whole bunch of times. You finally get to remember them. Okay, so I think I'm all going to wrap up here. We have lots of fun programming happening here on the D&D Twitch channel. Thank you so much for hanging out with me during this time. Again, Dice Camera Action is going to start in just about 5 minutes. And then after that, you got to follow that up with Maze Arcana, Sirens of the Realms. It's their final episode, their finale of everything that has been going on. Again, that's Dungeon Master Satine Phoenix, Vivid Vika, Amy Vorpahl, Maud Garrett, and Kate Elliott. They're all badass bards going through Chult. So if you haven't binged and been watching it, I suggest you do it now. But definitely stick around and watch the finale, because I think they got some really fun stuff planned. We have D&D Misclicks Risen is happening tomorrow at 4 p.m. Maze Arcana Fury's Fate is at 6 p.m. tomorrow. That's with Dungeon Master Rudy Rudenberg. And then on Thursday, we have some of our digital friends, Codename Entertainment Idol Champions of the Forgotten Realms. I didn't talk too much about you guys. How's it going, man? But we will talk more about that in the weeks to come. And then we'll be hosting at 7 p.m. the brand new campaign starting from Critical Role. All of our friends there, from Matt and Marisha to Taliesin and Laura and Liam and Travis and Sam. Is that all of them? I think I got all of them. Looking forward to their new characters. Can't wait. I actually never got able to get in because there's been so much story built up over their entire campaign. So I'm really excited about jumping in and seeing where they go from session 1. So we'll be hosting that as well as on Friday. We'll have Beamdog in here hosting, talking about their new release of Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition that's coming down the pipe. Again, Fireside Chat with Nathan Stewart will be at 11 a.m. That is with Nathan Stewart. He's looking for new fan art from Dice Camera Action, as well as from the Waffle Crew and everything from Tomb of Annihilation. So please send in your fan art or make it known to us. If you want to just do it to me at Greg Tito, I can make sure that he sees it. So do that. And also, you might get some swag. So please watch Nathan's thing at 11 a.m. You got to watch it live to make that happen. All right, everybody, have a great time watching Dice Camera Action. I'm going to sign off. Follow me on Twitter. Also, I'm on Instagram at Greg_Tito. And of course, if you want to find out more about Dungeons & Dragons, at Wizards_DND on Twitter. Is it the same on Instagram?
D&D Wizards.
D&D Wizards at Instagram. Trevor's been posting a lot of fun videos as well as images of what's been going on there, so check that out.
Some close-up video of these miniatures up after.
Oh yeah, good idea. We're going to get some close-up video of these miniatures themselves so you kind of see how amazing they are in person and up close. All right, there's going to be a few ads here playing. You know how to do that, Trevor?
Yeah, I'll make Pelham do it.
Okay, all right. We're going to run some ads and then get started with Dice Camera Action in just a few minutes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing, everybody who's been doing it. You're the best. Bye.